Hi everybody. So today's project is the dragon eye, and very similar to the human eye in the way I've kind of drawn that shape, which is not an oval that's rounded at the edges, but more like this, where it's pointier at the edges. Okay? So think about how you want to draw one line over, one line under to create that eye shape. And then you can think about the pupil. You'll notice here I didn't make it a round pupil. Like I made a round pupil here in my origami eye. I just kind of made it more like a slit to make it a little more mysterious. I followed around that, so I kind of layered. So there's one, and then I drew another line around it, and then I added these patterns to give it a scale-like pattern, and I even added some horns. So to get started, I've decided this time I'm not going to work on as large a piece of paper. I'm going to make it smaller. But I'm going to think about how I hold my pencil, because a lot of times when we're writing, we hold our pencil very close to the grip. If you want to get more movement out of your drawing, think about holding your pencil further away from the tip, a little bit closer to the middle, and sometimes when you want to work really big, you're going to actually hold it even closer to the bottom. So I would probably start in pencil. I'll do a quick little sketch in pencil. My over, my underline, over, under. You'll notice I'm not worried about it being perfect, so don't start over a lot of times. Just get yourself with your eye like that. Now, if you wanted a round pupil, somewhere in there, and right now that could be the human eye. So how will we transform it? We're going to transform it by giving it more scale. So let me show you what I did. I did my overline, and notice when you're drawing, sometimes you don't want just your fingers to do the work. A lot of times people drag their fingers over. I'm going to just actually keep my wrist steady, and you'll notice how I'm getting more movement from my wrist there. So here's the eye. I could make the pupil somewhere around there. Maybe I'll even make a shine mark to see. So I might fill this all in black. I'll leave a little space like that. And then depending on what colors I'm going to use here, I would just leave that spot white to show a little bit of shine. I might do that too if I'm going to use color here. But I would do a second layer, so it's a parallel line going around the edges. Parallel line going around the edges, like that. So I've repeated the shape. And now I want to make it less human-like, more like a dragon. So very scaly. I'm going to give him some scales around the eyes here. So it's really just an upside down U, same that you would do if you were drawing a fish. Here we go, all the way around. And already you can see how it's starting to transform it. Just don't go like this where you're rushing too much, because a lot of times it starts to get a little bit less scale-like. So try to draw them individually as opposed to just like sometimes I'm doing. Here we go. So I have my layer of scales. Now I could do the same thing, or I could do that idea where I kind of made them look squared off a little bit and bigger. They're getting bigger as they move toward the edge, toward the outside. And again, you don't have to worry about being too perfect when you're repeating the pattern. So if it goes a little bit off, it's okay. You see how mine's starting to go off a little bit? I'm not going to worry about it too much, because you'll notice if you saw my drawing of my first one, you would have been like, oh boy, lots of mistakes. But sometimes you just need to follow through, and usually you'll be okay with the results. So here we go, start of my dragon's eye. I'm just going to show you how to make a horn kind of look if you want to put horns around there or spikes. So I would make it sort of like a triangle, like that, and then I'm going to make almost like a sideways C around the bottom. Notice how I didn't close it off here. Like if I did this, not bad, but it almost looks like it has nowhere it's coming out of. So here I'm making it almost look like it's poking out of the skin. Like there's a little thing holding it in there. So I could do that here too. I could just add it around the edge. And then you could fill them in. You can make them different sizes. You know, it is a dragon, it's a mythical creature, so you can add any way you want. They could be coming out like that. Maybe they're overlapping. And so just when you get to the color part for here, because you'll see here I colored all around the edges, different colors, any colors you want. I even painted over here. But for in here, just when you're coloring, think about how you want people's eyes to look at your piece, including yourself. So if I were using let's say I'll use purple this time. I'd use the darker color toward the edge, but notice how I'm not going like this around, although you certainly could. It's going to give it that look like the human eye, or I guess animals too. It has that flex kind of look. It looks more how the eye would look, the human eye, or even an animal eye. So you notice how I'm going toward the center? It's kind of moving people's eyes around that sphere shape toward the center, because it's going to be lighter as it goes closer to us, because light is reflecting off it. I have a light purple. Let's see. Sorry, I'm going to peel that. And you don't need to stay in the same color family, but I might even apply a little less pressure. And I'm just kind of pulling it toward the center. So I'm always moving from the edge toward the center, toward the center. And it just gives it that nice spherical look. I'm going to blend some pink in here because I'm using oil pastel. I can overlap and blend. There we go. And you don't even need to do every section. You might go in and I could go in and I could add a little more black, like toward the edges. It's going to give it that look. I could blend it, maybe even if I have a little white. Just give it that blended look. You could add the white here if you wanted for the shine mark. And what else? Let me go around here. I'm going to just, maybe I wish I left my shine a little bit less bold. All right, so there is the start of how I'm going to get my eye done. And here is where I finished up. So if you want to try a dragon eye, this is definitely a lot of fun. And you can make them in all different colors, all different kinds of designs around it, patterns, all kinds of different pupils. You definitely could have some fun with that. For this one, for origami, I think I'll make a separate video for that so you can see. But the idea is that it's almost like a one-eyed dragon eye. It's going to give you that ability to open and close it so you can decorate it on the outside. So keep an eye out for that one, okay? Have fun!